Welcome to Thelma's podcast. I hope you're ready for new episodes. So my podcast really is to inspire young people and especially my students. All right, so today I have the pleasure of having Miss Dimitrova. She's an author. All right, so I can't wait to have a I can't wait. I hope all of you are having a lovely Monday. Yeah? Nearly Christmas holiday, guys, for us teachers and students. Okay, by the way. Okay. Hello.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. So can you introduce yourself to us, please?
Of course, yeah, my name is Maria, or as you might otherwise be seeing, I've got the page called Words on an Empty Page.
Okay.
And yeah, I guess I'm an author on the side.
You are author. What do you do usually? So you say you're author on the side. What else do you do?
I'm actually finishing up a degree at the moment. I study biomedical sciences.
Well done, you. I don't know what to say. What? So when did you start your journey as an author? When did you start?
Oh gosh. I think one of the first ever poems I wrote was probably when I was like maybe year 4, year 5. So I must have been around 9 years old.
Amazing. And I'm sure in school you liked English for you to
Yeah.
be oh, it's fantastic. So when did you started, to professionally become an author or writer?
Um, it kind of reached a point where, it was something I kind of dabbled in and liked to experiment with, but it got to a point where I gathered quite a large chunk of poems, and I thought, maybe this might relate to someone, and someone else might decide they kind of feel the same way. So I thought, why not kind of put it out there?
That's fantastic. So have you released them on a book already, or you have a website where we can read your poems?
At the moment, it's just my Instagram page.
Oh,
Maybe one day a book, we'll see.
that's amazing. So remind me again. So what degree are you finishing to study now?
Biomedical sciences.
Can you explain what that is? Because I haven't got a clue. Sorry.
Um, okay, biomedical science is kind of like, so medicine studies the reason why someone gets sick and how to treat them. Biomedical sciences still explores both those sides, but focuses a little more on the hows rather than necessarily this is the treatment option and kind of go off. So it's a lot of lab work, it's a lot of science, it's
Yeah.
a lot of understanding things to kind of on a cellular level. So yeah, mostly it's just kind of like science with some sprinkled medicine in.
I need to ask you, how do you manage to do both? So poetry aside, and because this seems like it's a lot of studies. Like personally, I feel like it's hard work. What you do? I mean, how do you manage to balance this?
Um, I've always really looked at poetry as more of a hobby than anything. It's not like I don't have a schedule to sit down and write in the same way that I do to revise or complete assignments and things like that. So it doesn't feel as restrictive, and it doesn't feel like I have to manage my time around it. It's I suppose maybe this is kind of cliche to say, but
Yeah.
almost when the inspiration strikes, that's kind of when I sit down and write. It's just, yeah, I'm not one of those people that can force myself to sit down and write. I have to kind of have something inspire me, and then it kind of comes out.
So what inspires you? What things inspire you? People, things?
Kind of anything and everything going on in my life, really. That's usually what I'm writing about. I like kind of checking in those little metaphors and veiled suggestions, I suppose. But a lot of the time, it's like things to do with my life, with the people in my life, things I enjoy or don't enjoy sometimes. That's kind of, yeah, that's a really big inspiration for me, usually.
That's fantastic. I mean, I need to ask you this. If, let's say, your poetry gets out there and is successful, would you give up your studies, or would you be like, you know what? I'm going to see where it goes and stick to do both? What would you do?
That is a huge question. I mean, it'd be fantastic if it ever does, get out there and kind of, if I manage to publish things, that would be absolutely amazing, because I think that'd be a really big dream of mine, to be a published author. I think though science is kind of my biggest passion. I want to be a children's nurse one day, and that is something that I really, really do want to pursue. So I think if it does get out there and it gets to that point, I probably will try to juggle both and kind of continue doing both at the same time. I wouldn't want to give up either one.
Yeah, of course. So, any poets out there, past or present, have inspired you in what you're doing?
Oh my goodness, yeah, absolutely. Not just poets, all kinds of writers. I think there have been so many times where I've read something and I'm like, this is absolutely brilliant. I want to write something of this sort. Writers like George Orwell, for example, I
Oh,
think is absolutely phenomenal. So I love reading his work, as well as Percy Bysshe Shelley. It's a lot of imagery, a lot of different things. I really like. There's this one poem called Tissues. I really enjoy that. I think a lot of people usually kind of goes over their heads a lot of the time and kind of say, oh, it's kind of boring. But I think there's a lot of hidden symbolism that gets missed out a lot of the time. And I love kind of taking those little ideas and seeing where it fits in with my writing as well.
that's fantastic. If you were to advise, some pupils, or in English they have to do poetry. How can you make it, exciting for them to just try and come up with a nice poetry? What would you say to them?
In terms of writing their own thing, I would say just put something down on paper. I think the toughest bit is getting started. And that's usually the thing that throws a lot of people off. They'll say, I don't know what to write about. I don't know where to start. So I think that's kind of the first point, just put something down on paper. It doesn't need to be good. It doesn't need to be perfect the first time around, but just chuck it on, see if it works together, see if you need to rearrange it, that kind of thing. And then, yeah, just kind of go from there. And it's no pressure, because in that moment you're only writing for yourself. No one's watching, no one's seeing, no one's gonna mark it. So kind of just write for yourself and see what you put.
And have you shared what you've done with your family and friends? Have you showed them what you do, or you haven't yet?
Usually the first person I show when I write something is my mom and my best friend. They're
Oh,
the first people that ever see it, and I kind of get opinions and ask them to read through it and see if there's anything I need to change or edit or that kind of thing. Because I mean, my mom actually is a massive inspiration for me for writing, because she writes poetry herself. So
oh,
I kind of grew up reading her poems and getting inspiration from the things she's written. So, definitely she's someone I go to, get advice and opinion and show.
that's fantastic. So your mom, is she an established, poet, or she just sort of like as a hobby?
Sadly, no. I personally think she definitely should be an established poet because she's phenomenal. But it's something as a hobby on the side for her.
Yeah, is there any way you can share things as well that your mom does? Yeah, or is just sharing your own poetry?
That would need to be with her permission.
Of course.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of the stuff as well that she writes about are drawn from her life. So
Oh.
yeah, but maybe, who knows? One day we can maybe release a book together.
Yeah, one day have you thought of doing something together? You and your mom, releasing, your creation together. I can see this happening.
Definitely, gears are turning.
So to ask you this, where are you from originally?
Originally, I'm from Bulgaria.
Oh, lovely. But I've never been. I don't know nothing about Bulgaria. Does your country inspire you in a way, from what you're writing?
Definitely, yeah. There have been poems which I've written specifically about it. Most, like, largest majority of my poems are written in English, but I do have some that I've written in Bulgarian as well. So it definitely does overlap and kind of give influence to a lot of my pieces.
That's fantastic. We have a friend in common. I think he's watching. Sanayas. How do you know him?
Well, we're engaged actually. He's my fiance.
Oh, congratulations. So please
Thank
tell me,
you.
what did you meet? Like you is a wonderful soul, a wonderful person. Please tell me, how do you guys meet and everything? And is he inspire you as well in your own portrait?
I mean, definitely yes.
Oh,
I would be lying if I said that there isn't a single thing I wrote that's about him. It definitely is an inspiration. We actually met through music. We both were involved in an orchestra within our local music service. And that's how we met. And we were friends for a really long time. And then we just got to talking, and I think we both kind of realized we really enjoy each other's company.
That's
And now we're getting
fantastic.
married.
Oh, honestly, you guys, you deserve each other because you seem like a very nice, lovely, kind, and inspiring person. I like what you do. It's fantastic. He's very talented. I mean, both of you, you're talented. Musically, are
Thank
you
you.
gonna think that one day you can release something together? So you do lyrics, I mean, a poet, and then he sort of like, provide the music?
I would absolutely love to. I mean,
Oh.
one of the points where we used to kind of hang out and talk a lot about was he always used to ask me for help writing lyrics for the songs that he was kind of producing. So, maybe we'll get back to that and release something together. Who knows?
I really hope. I mean, honestly, he's a keeper. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'll tell him as well. You're a keeper. You guys are so fantastic. And so I never knew who you were. This is embarrassing. If I'd known, I'd be like, anyway, I hope I can meet you one day. I really do. I
That would
mean,
be so great.
Tanais is somebody that I work 24/7. I always come to him quite a lot. I'm sure he must be fed up of me, but he's so helpful, so lovely, so wonderful. I'm so happy that I met you. I mean, through him. I love what you do, and I looked at your Instagram, and I love
Mm.
that. What I love about it, you didn't make it obvious with him. You just make it obvious about your poems. I love that. Please keep up the excellent work, the inspiring
Thank
work, and please one day we need to invite you to the school to talk about
you.
what you do. Would you be open for that? I mean, honestly, would you be open?
Absolutely. I mean, I think, especially GCC students, they get made to do poetry. And I think a lot of people really hate it,
Yeah,
sadly.
yeah, yeah,
So
they do. Yeah.
I would absolutely be so down for it because if there's at least one or two people that we can get excited about poetry, then that's great. That's fantastic.
So we're gonna watch this space because we have workshops. So I'm definitely gonna find out how we can do this, and how
Hmm.
nice can help. I mean, it needs to help anyway because we need
Yeah.
our people to inspire young people about how English is not just a subject where you have to do this and this and that. It can lead to a lot of things. I'm sure
Absolutely.
musically, poetry, writing, So please, we're gonna keep in contact and make that happen. So my last, and I want to say big thank you and congratulations as well. So my last question for you, what would you say to students that would one day want to be, into poetry, also the course that you're doing, the degree that you're doing? What would you say to
The,
them? What would you advise them?
biology is a lot cooler than it seems. I think a lot of people kind of go, oh, it's kind of very nerdy, very wordy, but you literally learn about the world around you. And I think for me, it's really cool to understand different processes that my body goes through and kind of be like, I know what this is and I know why it happened. And it gives you so much insight into so many things about yourself, about the world around you, and it opens a million doors. It is not restrictive in the least. So definitely I think there's more to it than meets the eye, and it's a lot more interesting and engaging than it might seem sometimes at school.
Yeah. So for that, you really have to, let's say, love science, maths, biology, physics.
There's a bit of something for everyone, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, fantastic. Well, I'm sure if they watch this video, they'll be like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna be like her. I'm gonna really pay attention in my science classes, or even as a side, have your passion, whatever it is that your passion, like music, writing. You can, like you said, you can do both. You don't have to limit to one thing. So I like that about you. So please carry on pursuing your dreams because I'm sure that's gonna happen. You look like you're somebody that know what you're doing, know what you want, and just please go for it. And thank you for sharing your wonderful time with us and your poetry. And I hope to meet you one day face to face.
Definitely. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It's
The
been great.
pleasure. The pleasure's all mine. Thank you again. Have a lovely evening. Thank you.
You too.
Bye.